Hi there, everyone. So, it is Saturday, so I thought I'd do a little recording, letting you guys know how NaNoRenO is going for me. So, I'm just going to reflect on what happened this week. So, this week, I did a total of, let's see, I did a total of 10 songs. I made a sprite of the love interest, Rosim, and I animated her blinking. And then I did another picture of Rosim, this time wearing a headset, because that's the headset that she wears when she is controlling the robot. The robot doesn't need to be controlled directly by Rosim, but she can control it. Um, so I'll just show some of the artwork on screen and like maybe the animation of her blinking. But that's pretty much all that I have to report. I don't know if I will going forward show you like next week, for example. I don't know if I'll show you all of the artwork that I will do, because there's only so much art in the game, and I don't want to give away spoilers. But I thought, for now, this is fine. Maybe I'll show you a little bit of artwork next week as well. But yeah, it's coming along well, and part of why I wanted to participate in NaNoRenO and really take it seriously is because I'm very interested in seeing what I can actually really do in a month's time. And I think it is looking like I have a schedule here, and I think realistically I can make a 20,000 word game with about 8 pictures, maybe 7 pictures, with like some variants to the pictures, like the expressions on the character sprites and time of day variants for the backgrounds, that sort of thing. And I think it would be cool to just test um how far I could get in a month without pushing myself overly hard. Like, realistically speaking, how much can I do in a month? You know? And I think after NaNoRenO, like if this works out fine and I'm able to make a decent 20,000 word visual novel in a month, then maybe this is something that I could do outside of NaNoRenO. Like maybe outside of NaNoRenO, I have quite a few other ideas that I don't mind being relatively short projects, like 20,000 words long. And I think it would be really cool if I would just be able to be like, okay, spend a month, make another game. And this is to say that I would do them quite quickly, but that, like, even though they would have limited art assets, the art would be like, yeah, I'm comfortable with the art, it looks pretty good. And the story would be like, yeah, I'm comfortable with the story, it is pretty solid. Like, I don't want to put out trash, obviously. But if I'm trying to make a name for myself and trying to make this into a business, then I think it would be really cool to just be able to bang out visual novels that are actually authentic, like no AI crap, just actual. I worked on this for a month, maybe occasionally I worked on this for 2 months, and release those for like modest prices and see how people like them. So that would be really cool. So I'm looking forward to seeing how NaNoRenO pans out. Because I think realistically speaking, I should be able to get this project done within the allotted time. And if I can do this in the allotted time, there's no reason that I can't duplicate it for future months, right? So I realize that it's a little bit rambly to go on about what I'm thinking of doing in the future, especially when NaNoRenO isn't even done. Like, this is just the first week. But already I have like a few things kind of cooking. So this obviously, Snowdrift, the NaNoRenO project, is cooking. And then after that, I should really finish up Submerged Lights. I might need to push the deadline. I might need to push the release date of Submerged Lights back because I do need to do quite a bit of artwork. But realistically speaking, I should be able to finish up Submerged Lights within another month. But it might take a little bit longer to get released because of Steam takes a while to like process everything. Like it takes a few weeks. So I have that one that I'm working on, and then after that, I should probably work on um the Warm Tree, which I had started last year, and I made a NaNoRenO like demo of the Warm Tree last year, and then I like proceeded to experiment with the scope of the project, and I was like, oh, it's going to be really big, or it's going to focus on these characters, it's going to focus on those characters, it's going to have these protagonists, multiple or maybe just one. And I feel like if anyone looked at the very rough Warm Tree NaNoRenO demo last year, I just want them to have like a good quality project that it's like, even if it's small, I want them to just know that it's like, yeah, I do like the Warm Tree and I do care about finishing it. Here's a good quality project. Um, yeah, and then after that, I also am in the middle of working on Tranquility's pages, as you might remember, which I am liking a lot as well. And I don't know, when I started making visual novels with the silent column, I was thinking that the scope needed to be really, really big, but now I realize that it's like, I don't know, releasing like small sized projects and like, between like 20,000 and 40,000 words, and just like, if I want, I could release that for like one of the love interests, and then later I could release another one of those for another one of the love interests. And in that way, I could sort of build up larger continuities, like larger worlds with multiple characters and such. And I feel like that's fine, and it just like it would result in a bunch of bite sized projects that people could pick up. I don't know. It makes sense to me. But anyway, I'm just brainstorming a little bit. That is how my NaNoRenO first week went. So next week, I'm planning on doing a sprite for the robot, a CG of the robot, um, another CG which I will not share because it's very spoilery, another CG just of the love interest embracing the protagonist, and then maybe a background. And while I'm doing all those, I plan on doing like some more music. Realistically speaking, I don't think that this project needs much more music or any more music necessarily speaking, because like I said, I already have 10 songs done. But I think it would be good practice to get used to doing some music along with each finished picture, because I think it makes a lot of sense to be like, I finished a picture, now I'm composing music that goes along with the picture, and that it feels very fitting to the visuals of the story and the vibe of the story. I think that would be a good habit to sort of form. You could even compose the music while looking at the picture, or just the picture is fresh in your mind because you just made it, and so you can like envision it in your head and like focus on the feelings that that picture gives you while you're working on the music. I think that makes a lot of sense. So, yeah, basically that's what I will be working on next week. Hopefully I'll get all of that done, but if not, that's okay. And then I guess I will just disclose what I plan on like the week after that. The week after that, I plan on finishing like doing another background, then doing some like a blinking animation for the robot. The robot isn't going to actually blink, but I would like an animation of her like opening her eyes when she like comes online and like closing her eyes when she like gets turned off. Uh then I need to do the expression set for the love interest. Of course the robot does not have an expression set. It's a robot. Um then I'm going to do the background time of day variants that will just be very simple. The backgrounds are interior, so I'm not going to be needing like a complicated starry sky or anything, dependent on the time of day. Um, then I'll probably have a day off because I have something personal coming up, and then I'll just start writing. I'm planning on writing like 3,000 words a day during the writing segments. And then, like, the last week will just be me finishing up the writing. And yeah, I am planning on this visual novel being 20,000 words, which of course is not divisible by 3. So the last day, I plan on being like, well, hey, the last day will be 2,000 words instead. And then I'll just have like extra time to do whatever, like work on the store page on itch.io. I'm also planning that, like, I want this game to participate in NaNoRenO, but if it turns out being like of good quality and I'm able to finish it within the allotted month, then I see no real reason why I wouldn't be able to also sell it, because I am wanting to make this into, like, if I could make this my livelihood, that would be just awesome. That'd be fantastic. But I do also kind of want this to be free because it is participating in NaNoRenO and I want people to be able to see it. And I think it makes a lot of sense for like me to participate in events like this every once in a while where it's just free. So I think maybe what I'll do is like, I don't know the future. I'm not entirely decided on what's going to happen. Something different may happen, but what if I just have it be free for like until I get it up on Steam in like a month or maybe 2 months. And then once it's out on Steam, I'll be like, okay, it's whatever price it is, like $6 USD, $8 USD, something like that. And then it's like, hey, you had your window, you could have played it during NaNoRenO, like right around there. And you could have been like, hey, nice, thanks for the sample game sort of thing. But then once that window is over, it's like, hey, I might as well try to make some money off of it. I mean, that makes some sense. I want to be able to put bread on the table. So, yeah, these are just sort of my scattered thoughts. I guess I'll see you next Saturday. Thanks for listening, everyone. And if you're making a NaNoRenO game as well, that's cool. I, I hope you do a good job and I wish you well and everything. By the way, please don't feel like you need to take on a ton of work to participate in NaNoRenO because I have a lot of time. So I'm able to dedicate a lot of time to this. I realize that like other people, they like releasing a 20,000 word project as a solo dev in 1 month is not really necessarily reasonable for like people who have more stuff going on. But yeah, that's it. See you in the next video, you guys. Take care.